Another type of problem we could encounter when dealing with problem solving and using linear equations is one like this. It says at West High School, 362 students take Spanish. This number has been increasing at a rate of 20 students per year. The number of students taking French is 259 and has been decreasing at a rate of 3 per year. At these rates, when will there be 2 times as many students taking Spanish as taking French? So let's kind of talk through this, maybe use our idea like we have in the past of a verbal model. We know there are 362 students taking Spanish. Okay, so current students taking Spanish. Okay, and obviously I'm doing this sloppily, but just trying to get a feel of what our problem is going to entail. It says this number has been increasing. So if we talk about increasing, I'm going to think of this as being a plus. Okay, increasing at a rate of 20 students per year. Now when we talk about a rate or per, that means after 1 year, it increased by 20. But after 2 years, it increased by 40. After 3 years, it increased by 60 because we're multiplying by 20 every single time. So it's going to increase by, we'll just call it rate of increase for now, and then we'll put our numbers in later. And when we take about our rate of increase, that's going to be times the number of years. Okay? So this represents Spanish. Now French, in French class, okay, it says we still have our current students taking French. So it's called students taking French. Current students is fine. And it has been decreasing. When we talk about decreasing, what should we think of? Subtraction. And it gives us again our rate. So we're going to subtract off our rate of decrease. And we'll multiply that again by the number of years. Because if it's decreasing at a rate of 3 per year, that means after 1 year, it decreased by 3. After 2 years, it decreased by 6. 3 years, it decreased by 9. We're multiplying by 3 each time. Okay? So now, if we wanted to put some labels in, we know the number of students taking Spanish. That is 362, even though I kind of erased it here, wrote over it. Plus our rate of increase for Spanish is 20. And the number of years. Well, that's what we don't know. So let's call that X. Same thing for students in French. There are 259 students in French class. And we're going to subtract the rate of decrease. Well, it's decreasing at 3 per year. Again, we don't know the number of years. The last thing to take in consideration here is we want to know when there will be 2 times as many students taking Spanish as taking French. So 2 times as many students taking Spanish as taking French. So we want to know when our Spanish expression is going to be, so it's going to equal, when there will be, equals 2 times as many students in the French class. So that's why we're going to take our expression for the French students in French, and we're going to multiply it by 2. We don't just want to know when they equal each other, we want to know when there's 2 times as many students in Spanish as there is in French. Okay? So let's work on solving this equation. Once we get it set up, then it's just solving a linear equation. Alright, again, before we can solve anything, we always simplify. We have 362 plus 20x, nothing to simplify there. But over here we can use our distributive property. So, if I grab a calculator real quick, 2 times 259 is going to be 518. And I probably should go keep change just to make that a negative there. 2 times 3x is going to, I'm sorry, 2 times a negative 3x is going to be a negative 6x. Now I'm going to add 6x to each side because remember, like we've worked out in the past, we need to combine all of our variable terms on one side of the equal sign. So this gives us 362 plus 20x's plus 6x's is 26x's. That equals our 518, and we double check to make sure those cancel. Now, we're solving for 26x, so let's get rid of the 362 first. Let's subtract 362 from each side. That cancels because they're opposites, or think of it as positive, minus, or whatever. We have 26x equals 518 minus 362 is 156. And then finally we divide both sides by 26. 26 divided by 26 is 1x. 156 divided by 26 is going to be 6. So, again, always make sure you're answering the question. At these rates, when will there be 2 times as many students taking Spanish as taking French? Remember, our x represents years, so it'll happen in 6 years, if those rates continue. So again, we can take a real-life example, put it in terms of algebra, and solve our linear equation to get a solution to our problem.